Hello everyone, my name is Matthew, and this is Learn the Lingo. Welcome back to Hebrew Basics, a series where we learn the essentials of Hebrew grammar. Today, we are going to be doing a practice and review of everything we've learned from lessons 57 to 60 in this series. Over these past 4 lessons, we've learned how to form and use the Pual binyan. The Pual is the passive counterpart of the Piel binyan. This means, in the active Piel, the subject of the verb is the one doing the action, but in the passive Pual, the subject of the verb is having the action done to them. If we put the root kuf bet lamed in the Piel binyan, it has a meaning of receiving something. So in the passive Pual, it has a meaning of being received. Let's make the 4 forms of the present tense in the Pual binyan of this root. We'll start with the masculine singular form, which is the simplest. A Pual present tense will begin with a mem with shva, followed by the first root letter kuf, which will have a kubutz, which says u. This will be followed by the second root letter, the beit, with a dagesh and kamatz, and will end with the third root letter lamed. Makubal is received, masculine singular. We can take makubal with no vowel change and add im to make makubalim, are received in masculine plural form, or add ot to make makubalot, are received in feminine plural form. To make the feminine singular form, we take makubal, change the kamatz to a sagol, and add another sagol and tav. Makubelet is received in feminine singular form. With these verb forms, we can say hu makubal, it is received in masculine form. He makubelet, it is received in feminine form. Hem makubalim, they are received in masculine plural form. And hein makubalot, they are received in feminine form. The Pual binyan has only 3 tenses: this present tense, the past tense, and the future tense. Let's now make the past tense from the root chet pe sin. In the active Piel, this root has a meaning of looking for, so in the passive Pual, it has a meaning of being looked for. Let's begin by making the simplest form of the past tense, whose subject will be hu, he. He was looked for. This will start with the first root letter chet with a kubutz, followed by the second root letter pe with a dagesh and patach. We'll end with the third root letter sin. Chupas, he was looked for. The following forms of the past tense will add endings onto chupas without having any vowel changes. Chupasti, I was looked for. Chupasta, you were looked for, masculine singular. Chupast, you were looked for, feminine singular. Chupasnu, we were looked for. Chupastem, you were looked for, masculine plural. And chupasten, you were looked for, feminine plural. To say she was looked for and they were looked for, we will shorten the vowel on the second root letter, the patach, to a shva, and add a to make chupsa, she was looked for, and u to make chupsu, they were looked for. And let's finally see how the Pual future tense is formed, with the root labed mem dalet. In the Piel, this root has a meaning of teaching, so in the Pual, it has a meaning of being taught. In the future tense, the root letters will have the same vowels they do as in the Pual past tense: a kubutz, dagesh, and patach. Onto these root letters, we will add prefixes which will all have a shva, with the exception of aleph, which will have a patach shva instead. With this aleph prefix, we make alumad, which means I will be taught. With a tav prefix, we make tolumad, you will be taught, masculine singular, or she will be taught. With a yod prefix, we make yalumad, he will be taught. And with a nun prefix, nalumad, we will be taught. Taking talumad, we can add na to make tolumadna, You will be taught feminine plural, or they will be taught in feminine form. Again with talumad, we'll shorten the vowel on the second root letter to a schwa and add e to make talumdi. You will be taught feminine singular, and adding u, talumdu. You will be taught masculine plural. Taking yalumad, he will be taught. We'll again shorten that patach to a schwa and add u to make yalumdu. They will be taught. Let's say she is confused. She is he, and the verb is confused is from the root bet lamed. In the Piel, this root has a meaning of confusing, so in the Pual, it has a meaning of being confused. Let's start by making the masculine singular form of the present tense of this root. This will start with a mem with schwa, followed by the first root letter bet with a kubutz. Since this is a four-letter root, the second root letter, the lamed, will just have a schwa, and the third root letter bet will have the kamatz and dagesh. So that mavulbal is confused in masculine singular form. In this sentence, this verb needs to be in feminine singular form, and to do that, we'll change the kamatz to a segol and add another segol and tav at the end to make mavulbelet is confused in feminine singular form. He mavulbelet. She is confused. He mavulbelet. Let's say we were depressed. The root this verb will be from is dalit kaf aleph. In the Piel, this root has a meaning of depressing, so in the Pual, it has a meaning of being depressed. This will be a past tense verb whose subject is we. The hu form of the Pual past tense is duka. He was depressed. To make the anachnu, we form, we add a nu ending. And if the root ends with olive, we will change the kamatz at the end to a tsere. Dukenu, we were depressed. This vowel change from a kamatz to a tsere happens in the I, we, and all the u forms of the Pual past tense when the last root letter is olive. These kinds of roots are also irregular in the feminine singular form of the present tense. Let's say the woman is depressed. The woman is ha'isha. The verb is depressed will be the root dalit kaf olive in the feminine singular form of the Pual present tense. The masculine singular form is maduka. When the last root letter is olive, to make the feminine singular form from this masculine singular form, we change the kamatz to a tsere and just add a tav. Maduket is depressed in feminine singular form. Ha'isha maduket. The woman is depressed. Ha'isha maduket. Let's say they are blessed. They can be the masculine hem. Blessed will be from the root bet resh kaf. Again, in the Piel, this root has an active meaning of blessing, and in the Pual, it has a passive meaning of being blessed. If the masculine singular form of the present tense of this root was regular in the Pual, it would be mavurach. But if the second letter of a root is resh or aleph, in the Pual, instead of the first root letter having an u vowel, it will have an o vowel. Mavorach is blessed in masculine singular form. To make the masculine plural form from this masculine singular form, we just add an im ending. Mavorachim are blessed. Hem mavorachim. They are blessed. Hem mavorachim. Let's make the verb it was described, where the it is a feminine noun. This verb will be from the root tav aleph resh in the passive pual binyan. The tense the verb is in is the past. The simplest form of the past tense is the hu, he form. He was described. If this root was regular, this verb would be tuar, with an u vowel. But since the second root letter is aleph, this u vowel will change to o. To'ar, he was described. What we need to do now is put this past tense verb in the he. she or feminine it form. To do this, we're supposed to shorten the vowel on the second root letter to a schwa. But if this letter is aleph, ein, chet, or hey, it can only become a patach schwa. Then we can add the a ending used for this form of the past tense. Toara, it was described in feminine form. We can use this verb to say, the bed was described. The bed is hamita, a feminine noun, which means that the past tense verb was described must be in the he form of the past tense. Toara. Hamita toara. The bed was described. Hamita toara. And a couple extra irregularities. If the last root letter is ein or chet, the feminine singular form of the Pual present tense will be irregular, as in manutzachat is one, which has two patachs as its last two vowels instead of two segols. If the last root letter is hey, Pual verbs will be formed the same way as Piel verbs are, but with an u vowel on their first root letter. For example, with the root nun samik hey, we could have the Piel manaseh and the Pual manuseh. And that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and share. And if you want to learn more Hebrew, please consider subscribing to my channel and checking out some of my other videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.